People struggle to develop and maintain new habits because they make their efforts unsustainable. They work out like crazy for a few days, usually at the beginning of the year, and never go back to the gym. They try to meditate for 30 minutes one day and don't give it another shot until 10 days later. They try to build an empire fueled by a burst of inspiration on a random Saturday afternoon. When people attempt to make a change this way, they overlook the profound power of consistency. When it comes to developing and maintaining a new habit, frequency matters more than intensity. If you do something frequently, a compounding effect will start to take place. Build the identity of the person you want to become. To build the identity of the person you want to become, ask yourself what the behavior of a person who has the habit you want to develop is. What is the behavior of a person who is in shape? They go to the gym consistently. What is the behavior of a prolific writer? He or she cracks open a notebook every day. James Clear refers to this as identity-based habit formation. In his book, Atomic Habits, he speaks about one of his readers who lost over 100 pounds. Instead of setting a goal to work out, he would set a goal to drive to the gym, and he would only allow himself to stay for 5 minutes. After a certain point, he realized he might as well work out. If you take the first step towards a habit, the inertia is often enough to carry you to the next one. Take minimum viable action. If you want to develop a writing habit, your minimum viable action could be sitting down at your desk or cracking your notebook open. If you want to read more, it could be sitting down in a specific chair with a book in your hand. When you take a minimum viable action, the inertia is often enough to carry you to the next step. You build momentum and the identity of a person who has your desired habit until you become the next best version of yourself. Raise your level of intensity gradually. If you're not on a deadline, you're going to work on something until you feel no resistance to it. Can I write for an hour today? No, the thought of it puts me off. What about 20 minutes? Maybe. How about 15? Yeah, I can do 15. Well, then refocus for 15 minutes. You find that resistant level to tame distractions, and then over time, as you ritualize this idea, you block off periods in your calendar to get into this mode. Over time, you lower that default level of stimulation, the amount of dopamine coursing through your brain because of this novelty bias. And you become better able to think more deeply about your work. When something becomes effortless for you, raise the level of intensity. In the same way you would never go from lifting 25 pounds to 100 pounds in one day, you want to increase the level of intensity to the point where you can get there without too much resistance, but it's still somewhat challenging. To put it more concisely, bend but don't break. What if you miss a day? Occasionally, you need a break. One way to handle this is to reduce the scope but stick to the schedule. Instead of writing a 1,000-word article, write 500. Many people quit altogether after they miss one day. But if you make your goal progress instead of perfection, you won't be so demoralized by missing one day. Develop a keystone habit and stack more. When you try to change too many habits at once, none of them stick. If you try to become a person who reads every day, writes every morning, goes to the gym 3 times a week, and meditates daily all in the span of a week, none of these habits will stick. But if you start with one keystone habit, it will create a ripple effect into every other area of your life. The best time to stack a second habit is after you've maintained the first one with consistency. If you go through this process of stacking, eventually you'll find yourself making the impossible possible. The compounding effects of habits. The progress we experience from the compounding effect of any habit isn't immediately visible. As a result, people give up quickly. They do not realize that every day they show up, they're building momentum. They are moving closer and closer to a breakthrough or inflection point. Systems versus goals. It has been said before that having a system is essential for increasing your creative output. Having a system allows you to focus on progress instead of perfection and put your energy and effort into what you control. A system also will enable you to experience visible progress, which in turn increases your motivation. Purpose and meaning. It's worth considering why you want to develop some habit. People watch videos like this one and think that's the reason to develop a habit. They treat guidance like gospel and make decisions that aren't aligned with their essential priorities. There's nothing that everybody should do, even though there are plenty of people who will tell you there are. Most of them also sell products for how to do that thing they say everybody should do. The goal is not to live a life that's just meaningful, but rather one that is filled with purpose. From making a YouTube video every day for 30 days to running 2 miles every day for 30 days, I have seen the compounding effects of habits over and over in my life. Habits are at the building blocks of all creative work, and for that matter, just about every goal you'd ever want to accomplish. So get started creating some habits today and see that compounding effect take over in your life.